So, Thanksgiving.
Uh-huh.
How do you two feel about Thanksgiving?
Yeah, Thanksgiving is...
Or the holidays in general.
Right, yeah. Thanksgiving has always had a weird relationship with me just because, you know, I'm like a lot of folks, I'm a kid of divorce, so there's a lot of travel, a lot of, you know, this person gets him this year, and we're over here, and this and that and the other. And so when I got to college, and I went to Texas A&M University, and we got to play TU every year. So it was on Thanksgiving, and that was like my good excuse to not see family because I was always at the game. And then they went ahead and canceled that game and rescheduled Aggie football back to Saturdays. So now I'm like without an excuse.
Betrayal.
Right? Yeah, I mean,
if you really wanted an excuse, I'm sure you could come up with something.
Yeah, like an amazing volunteer opportunity right here in Austin.
Right, on Thanksgiving. There are hungry people, and they will want some turkey and ham, damn it. Would you like some turkey and ham on Thanksgiving, Sarah?
No, I'm taken care of.
Oh, okay. Also, just real quick before we get to Thanksgiving for you or the holidays, our lines are open, so we'll be taking callers in about half hour, 45 minutes, and it'd be great if we had some callers on the line. It does not have to be about the holidays, but you are more than welcome to call and ask for the advice from us for the holidays.
And Flying Spaghetti Monster knows there's plenty to talk about as we're, here as a bunch of skeptics staring down the barrel of Christmas and a number of other religious holidays that, come with a lot of baggage.
Well, even Thanksgiving does. Think of what kids are taught in school about, like what I was taught in school Thanksgiving was about.
About how those nice savages helped us out before we gave them democracy. That's what you're referring to, right?
Yeah.
I went to a public school. That's public Texas school, so.
Yep, that's pretty much what I remember. And I didn't go to a Texas public school. I went to an Ohio public school.
Ooh. I went to a Texas public school in the 80s, so that was even more, yeah.
I don't know, mine was 90s. Anyway, so now that we have completely scared away any person who wanted
like
to call.
half our audience.
Sarah, what do the holidays mean for you?
Well, I love turkey, and I like eating, so that part is great. When I was a kid, it always meant being dragged out to my relative's house to sit around with a book because I didn't fit within any of them. So it was never like a special part of year except for the presents I got at Christmas. And so since then, since moving out and becoming an adult and such, I've tried to make it sort of my own thing. We'll sometimes hold Thanksgiving in our place, or I'll go to a partner's family. And, it's become more of a nice thing, if when you're able to choose,
right,
is the big deal, I think, the big change there. Able to decide, who you spend it with and what your traditions are.
Yeah, I'd have to say for myself, I have chosen a local family here at the ACA, which is awesome, and way more civil, shall we say, than my birth family.
I love watching you hold your tongue. It's just the face you get is great.
I'm sure my mom is out there watching. Mom, I love you. I didn't mean you. I just meant everybody else in our fucking family. And you know that. And wait for her to join the chat and be like, yep. But yeah, some stories to come when we have our little game.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. The holidays in general, for me, changed a lot when I was about 11 or 12, because that's when my grandpa got cancer. And so, before that, there were the big family gatherings. Granted, some of the stuff that was talked about was, but it was what you see in the movies, kind of, at least for a kid.
Yeah. Felt very conventional, very wholesome.
Yeah, and there was a rhythm to everything, and there was, you know, I mean, we would put the stuff, you know, put the tree up after Thanksgiving, and the presents would go under there, and, you know, my sister and I knew where she hid the presents, and so it's not like we ever went and looked and shook some boxes. But after that, you know, and the more religious side of the family was always a bit more tense. Because even as a kid, you know, let's bow our heads and pray. And I'd be like, anybody else not doing it? So, yeah, choice. Like you said, being able to choose who you spend it with and who you let at your table. I put it that way.
Makes all the difference.
Well, and then even if you have a great relationship with your family, who you love, oftentimes this is one of those parts of the year where that discrepancy in your values really comes up. You know, I mean, there's just an election, then you bring in the religious component, and all of a sudden it becomes a pretty divisive place to be, or at least it can be. Has that been y'all's experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think you, no matter what, to an extent, you kind of have a certain affection for your family, no matter how dysfunctional it is.
Sure.
But it's still really dysfunctional. And nothing brings out the dysfunction like the holidays.
I mean, my family and birth are all dead now, so I don't have to worry about that. But but before that, yeah, I remember. No, it's like, you know, every year you see someone, I don't know, posting on Facebook or just, you know, come talking in the office about, you know, oh gosh, I have to sit and deal with my bigoted relatives again. And just, you know, then regaling you of the tales afterwards of the things that they said and how awkward it was and how they had to hold their tongue or didn't, which makes for even more exciting stories.
For sure.